What's up, Jags fans? How's everybody doing? Man, we are in the middle of June, and we are talking Jags football. That's how you know it's a good day. I appreciate you guys being here. Before we jump into it, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You're already here. Hit the subscribe button. Like the video, all of those things. If you're watching this on replay, you're in one of two situations. One situation is that you're one of our London, England Jaguar fans, and you're asleep right now, and you have to watch this on replay. Patrick, I'm looking at you. The other thing is that you're not subscribed to the channel. Now, these shows are not on a schedule. They're few and far between, but they are by far the most fan interactive show about the Jaguars. So you want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You want to make sure that you get notifications when this channel goes live. We have a lot to talk about today. Possible injuries to the backup quarterback, outside linebackers. We're seeing OTAs and people coming back from injuries, I think, sooner than a lot of people thought. Which is good, which is definitely good. So make sure that you are subscribed so you get the live notifications. Also go on Twitter and like the Twitter and follow the Twitter. I'm pretty active on there, so it should be good. Well, we have a lot to get to today. First of all, man, C.J. Beathard getting carted off the field. Now, the latest reports today have come out that he's okay and that he's it's not going to be serious, but you never want to see your veteran backup go down on the first couple of days of training camp. And while he might be okay, there might be a situation where the Jags pick up a quarterback in free agency. So before we look at the free agent quarterbacks, I got to give credit to Tallahassee, who is here first, who didn't think it was possible, but it is possible. It's possible that you're first there. Robert Atzert is in the chat. He says, let's go. Grace Lambert says, woo. Christian Charles says, A. Okay, look, I love it. I love it. I love it. Robert Etcher says it's the groin. Look, no big deal. Just a groin, right, Robert? So I'd love to hear what you guys think we should do. We should let it play out. We should look at a lot of people are big on Blake Bortles. We'll talk about that. But, what about there? And what about Jordan Smith? The Jordan Smith injury didn't look good either. I mean, he hurt his knee. Even though he didn't play a lot last year, he was definitely a guy that I think the Jags are looking for depth. So definitely going to be something that we're going to look at because he's that strong side backer. That strong side backer is playing on the tight end side, the heavy formation side, the field side. You're going to want to have depth there. That's for sure. Tallahassee says, get on the boat. Waipipo Hefe says, hola. Hola, Waipipo. This is a very fan interactive show. So get into the comments. Tell me what you think. I want to get y'all's opinion. This is a show for fans by fans. This is the first video you've watched of ours because I did start another channel talking about sports every day. I'll plug that later. Don't worry about that. So there may be some people over here from that channel. This is a very interactive show. This is all about the fans telling us what they think. This is why Jags fans love this show, is because of that very reason. So, hola, Waipipo. Okay, so although Beathard didn't have a lot of playing time here, I mean, he was that veteran. You want to have a veteran backup for Trevor. You don't want Trevor going into the season with another young guy behind him. I think that's part of the reasons why last year Urban Meyer moved on from Gardner Minshew. It wasn't the fact that he wasn't a good player. It wasn't the fact that he couldn't add value to this team. I think Urban Meyer wanted someone on this roster that could give Trevor Lawrence like some veteran advice. Some what to do in this situation, how to be a pro. I mean, that's important in the NFL. I mean, we see teams do this time and time again. So it's definitely something that teams like to do. And I think Doug Peterson's no different. Grace Lambert says, I'll start it off tonight since we haven't had a video in 2 weeks. The $5 super chat. Well, the $5 is very nice, and I know. But look, this is content creator summer, okay? I'm off now for the summer. There's going to be so much content out there. It's going to be crazy. I'm on this YouTube channel. I have another channel now. I'm doing a daily sports show. I'm gonna put the link in there toward the middle of the show. That I'm doing a daily sports show. So talking about general sports. I know we're all Jags fans here, but I haven't been very good about these shows. But we'll do it more often for sure. And also I'm on Twitch. I'm at Jaguars_United on Twitch. I'm going to be on there after the show, so it's going to be good. Macco21 says, hit the like button. Thank you, Macco. Hit that like button. I like that. Helps the algorithm. Okay. Backup quarterback situation. Tell me what you guys want to do at backup. Do you guys want to wait it out? Okay, so what? Okay, obviously we want to wait it out. But what if CJ Beathard is out for 2 months? What do you want to do there? Who do you want to pick up? Do you really want Blake Bortles? Because I mean that's pop. I love Blake Bortles, but is that who you really want? Beathard completing both of his passes last year, 33 yards. CJ Beathard, look, he's a third round pick in 2017. Like, we think of him as this like old veteran because 2017 is that long ago, but it doesn't seem like that long ago. I mean, we all know 2017 pretty well. 2017 was when Beathard was drafted. He appeared in 21 games with 12 starts, and he had an abysmal 2-10 record with the 49ers. Brandon Latouche says Cap. Cap with a K, meaning Kaepernick, I think, unless it's a word pun. I don't know. Kaepernick got a workout. Christian Charles says Blake is totally fine because if Trevor gets hurt, it doesn't matter who is playing quarterback, LOL. So that's the thing. Like, as Jags fans, we're okay with Blake Bortles because it's Trevor or bust for us. But the coaching staff and the GM, it's not Trevor or bust for them. Like, it is, but like they also are trying to keep their jobs. And if they can get a backup in there to rattle off 2 or 3 wins, they can save their job, right? So us, we don't care about their job. Trent Baalke, Doug Peterson, they care about their job. So that's why you're not going to see Blake Bortles, I don't think, in that spot. Right now, Jake Luton's on the roster. EJ Perry, he's on the roster. But I don't know if Jake Luton. Look, I have like this recency bias, and I think we all do, because I'm a typical Jags fan. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not gonna take the high ground on the Jags here. I'm your typical Jags fan. Recency bias tells us that Jake Luton, hasn't been in the league that long, and he couldn't really give a veteran presence to Trevor Lawrence. But in reality, Jake Luton has played an entire season last year with Seattle behind Russell Wilson. That Pete Carroll scheme. That Pete Carroll coaching tree and that coaching philosophy is used by a lot of coaches. Like, I've personally coached under multiple coaches who follow the Pete Carroll scheme. It's that Bill Walsh scheme. It's that players coach scheme where you're a players coach. You let the players play. You don't give them positions. You give them positive reinforcements, like things like that. And look, Jake Luton was under that. Doug Peterson, I feel like, has a similar style. Offensive coach, and Jake Luton could be a guy that finds his way on the roster. But some people have talked about, why Pippo says Cam Newton's out there. I'm afraid that Cam Newton's value as a quarterback doesn't supersede him being a distraction. Now, I know he wouldn't be a distraction with Trevor Lawrence. Even the national media, I think, would be good enough about not making him too much of a distraction, but he just is a distraction. The way he walks in with his outfits and the things he says and chooses to be outspoken at some press conferences and say no words and walk out of other press conferences, and his tweets go viral. That's just not really what I want here. He's 33. I kind of want a guy that's going to give me something more. So I get the love for Cam. And look, maybe this is a situation where Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke, they want a guy like Cam Newton to come in and to play backup in case Trevor does go down. They can rattle off some wins. Maybe. I don't know. White Pippo says, this is crazy, but what about Kaepernick not going to threaten Lawrence? Again, another guy is just going to bring too much of a sideshow. Look, Tim Tebow had the same situation going on. It's not like these are the only guys. Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, Tim Tebow. Sometimes these guys just bring in a sideshow with them. And I don't think that's what we need. I just don't think that's what we need. And maybe the coaches and the GM feel different. I just don't think that's what we need. I don't know. White Pippo says, Cam, Tallahassee, give Fitzgerald enough money to come back out of retirement as a backup quarterback. Okay, so Ryan Fitzgerald, my name's today. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick coming back. If he played on the Jags, that would add him to the list of 2015 he's played for. Definitely a guy that can help Trevor. Now, I don't know if he'll come out of retirement, but if he were to come out of retirement, I think that would be a good situation for Trevor Lawrence. I really do. Christian Charles says Cam stinks now. Kev B says Cam sucked years ago. Robert Atcher says Cam's shoulder is shot. Okay, so Cam Newton's out. Okay, Cam Newton's out. I'm with that. I mean, he's going to give you the wildcat option. He's going to snap the ball. He's going to run, get you, 3 to 4 yards. That's what he's going to do. Here are some other guys that are available. And I just want to throw these out there, and you tell me what you think. And White People says trade for Baker, which obviously is a troll comment, but that's okay. Here's some guys that are available. Josh Rosen. Now, it seems like Josh Rosen's been in the league for a long time, and he has. But he's only 25 years old, and that's like September 1st. He's 25 years old. He's not like going to be 20. Like he's going to be 25 when the season starts. Now, anytime a prospective quarterback and Josh Rosen goes to multiple teams and can't even make the roster, it's obviously a major red flag. But possibly could get him for cheap. Possibly could be a guy that you get on your radar. However, I think that if Josh Rosen were going to be an option at 25, I think he would have already been on the roster as a practice team, OTA, scout team arm to get a look at him. So I don't know if that would work, but interesting name for sure. Gerald McKinnon, this is off subject, but what do you think of the developments of Deshaun Watson thing? What do you think will happen? Okay, Gerald McKinnon, let me give you something here. Let me give you, and this is good. Let me go. I'm gonna link to you guys, and I didn't have this pulled up beforehand, which is why it's taking me a second. Let's see here. And I'm going to link to you my YouTube channel where I'm doing my daily talk shows. And the reason why is because I talked about Deshaun Watson on that show. One second here. Okay. Now, it's a little rough around the edges, boys. But you know what? We're working on it. So Deshaun Watson, just a little side thing because I do want to comment on Deshaun Watson. Like the news came out that he had like 66 massage appointments in a couple months. Like that's not good. And look, I was raised to believe one thing, and then my modern intellectual tells me another. And let me explain. I was raised to think two things. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it is a duck. And that's just like wisdom, right? I was taught to use your conscience, your wisdom, all that stuff. The other thing I was taught to believe growing up is where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay, so it walks like a duck, talks like a duck. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Tells me stay away from Deshaun Watson. Not going to be good. Might get a year suspension on top of the year he sat out. Now, look, I know he sat out for a year, but he got paid, so he wasn't suspended. He got paid to do nothing. But then my intellectual brain tells me innocent until proven guilty. Now, his case has been looked at by 2 grand juries on indictment, and neither one of them indicted him. So to be like a person of reason, like innocent until proven guilty, he is innocent until proven guilty. But at the same time, man, it's hard to shake that feeling that this dude's a little sketchy. These stories these women are telling about his behavior, these massage parlors, completely unacceptable. Now, I think this dilemma, this juxtaposition between truth and narrative is where everyone's at. Like everyone's in the same boat as me. Everyone's like, yeah, so that's what we have to figure out is what really happened. There's 3 sides to every story. There's your side, there's my side, and there's the truth. That's my Deshaun Watson rant. But go follow my YouTube channel, my other one. I just started it. I'm going to be doing daily shows every day talking about general sports. Going to be a good time. Can't wait. And be a part of that. Kev B says the stream on money seeking thoughts will never end, whether he did it or not. Okay. So you're saying that no matter what, Deshaun Watson, for pro athletes, there's always going to be, that's true, man. You got to, when you're at that pedestal, you got to kind of behave differently. That's just life. If you don't like it, don't do it. The Browns are more dysfunctional than the Jags. They've won more games, though. But you're right, Robert Atzer. Watson didn't commit a crime. He just paid for sex. That's it. Okay. I guess that you would have to decide where you align with that. But I think you're right. Yeah, maybe he's getting Johnny Depp, says Tallahassee. Oh, man, I take pride on not watching any of that stuff. If y'all do, that's all you. But I watch too much sports to follow that. Gerald said, thanks, Jason, for the link. No worries. Robert Attridge says, that's not it. Funny Boy says, what's up, Mr. Trent? It's always nice when you get a Mr. in front of your name. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's look at some of the other free agents that we have. Josh Rosen, out. Cam Newton, you guys already said in the comments, out. Blake Bortles, we talked about him a little bit. Look, the boat already lives here, the fan favorite. But again, I think if that's I think that Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke are more unattached than we are. So I don't think they have any interest in Blake Bortles. Now here's another guy, and I'll throw this one out at you that might be interesting, and I'll show you, and I'll explain my reasoning. Tyler Bray is a free agent. Tyler Bray. He's going to be 29 in September. Played for San Francisco last. Okay, so we know the ties with our GM and our VP and all that with San Francisco. So Tyler Bray, could that be a guy that if we need a backup quarterback come September, if Beathard is out until October, is Tyler Bray a guy? Look, I might be on board with that. That might be where they go. He has the experience. He was highly recruited coming into Tennessee in college. Again, has the experience. Has been in the NFL since then. Been in a lot of different systems, a lot of different coaches. Has seen a lot, and that might be a guy that the direction the Jags might go. So, I don't know. Tyler Bray. Look, keep your eyes out for Tyler Bray, boys. Waipipo says victimless crime. Okay, so Waipipo feels like what he did is a victimless crime. That's fine. You just got to be careful. You got to be careful. You can't be going around doing what he's doing if you're a pro athlete. Because if you do, you're going to get the backlash potentially, or the repercussions potentially that he got. Now, am I ignorant in thinking that a lot of other NFL players aren't going around doing the exact same thing Deshaun Watson did? No, but I would probably bet a decent amount of money that a lot of those guys that are doing the same thing that Deshaun Watson is doing aren't as high profile as Deshaun Watson. Now, maybe they are, but I would bet that they're not. I don't think there's going to be 24 women coming out against a third-string quarterback who's made $200,000 in their career. I mean, you can Google people's net worth. I mean, you don't think a massage parlor worker knows how to Google your net worth? Regardless? I don't know. And look, maybe this is a situation where now when you're a pro athlete, you take extra steps to make sure this doesn't happen. Maybe you have the massage session recorded. Maybe you have, someone else in the room with you. And look, maybe this changes that. Is it worth it? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Christian Charles says, did you see La Confora got canned? Yeah, I did. And I'm so happy to see it. He was so horrible. So bad. Hey, it's Braden Holtz. What's up, Braden? 9 o'clock is pretty late. It must be the summer hours for you, Braden. Jesus King says, I thought C.J. Beathard was going to be okay. I mean, he was okay. Remember those throws he had last year? He threw that lollipop in the air that they caught on the sidelines. Oh, that was awesome. But yeah, I mean, I like Beathard. And I think everyone has the wait and see approach. Jesus is King. I was just kind of talking hypothetical if he's out till like October, mid-September, late September. Where is there an option to go somewhere else at backup quarterback? And, you only have a couple options. You have because you have to get a free agent. You're not going to trade for anybody to play backup quarterback. You got to get a guy that's done it and kind of old. You got to get a guy that's just been a career backup, or you got to get a young guy. I don't think they want a young guy behind another young guy, so I think that leaves you with career backup or old guy that's done it and can't do it anymore. That's why I have the names on my list: Josh Rosen, Cam Newton, Blake Bortles, and Tyler Bray. But I'm usually wrong. So, Joe McKinnon, the NFL has its standards that the Players Union has agreed to. There doesn't have to be an actual crime. Okay, you're right. So, Gerald, that's a good point because they do have this language that talks about conduct detrimental to the league. So even if it's not illegal, they can suspend you. And that language is great. You can tell they had some great lawyers write that language in because I think that allows them to have this type of situation, like Deshaun Watson, not be suspended next year. the NFL doesn't really gain anything from Deshaun Watson being suspended, and here's why. He's already sat out for a year. Like, he's kind of out of sight, out of mind. I mean, a 4-game suspension, a half a year suspension, but the NFL makes more money if they have Deshaun Watson playing, and it's shown in the past that they don't care about public perception at all. I mean, at all. I mean, look at the guys that are in the league right now. Randy Gregory, Aldon Smith. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that with these domestic abuse, like literal hitting women that are playing now. So I don't know. The little wrinkle in this is that there is like some like a quote unquote new girls coming out. Like, that's not good for him because that could actually potentially void his contract. If Cleveland signed him on the precedence that what was out there was all that's out there, this new information could void. I mean, I'm sure there's language in the contract that could potentially void if the league comes out and suspends him for a year. So, gotta be. I mean, and Deshaun. I mean, look, they've known all this longer than we have for sure. Robert Azard says the most pro athletes have 3 therapists at most, not 60 in 17 months. Yeah, that's a lot. Here's my only defense. And again, please don't take this as I'm defending Deshaun Watson, but here's my defense of that number 60 is high profile athletes like LeBron James is infamous for spending millions of dollars on body recovery. Here's what I mean, like cryo chambers, saunas, infrared saunas, massage therapists. I mean, if you look at the TB12 method, Tom Brady's method of like playing, he gets a massage twice a day. Now he has a guy who does it, but that guy's probably not available every day, twice a day. So you got to think some of these people that really invest money. I mean, LeBron James, this was years ago, and admitted to spending over $1 million a year on recovery. That's massages, all that stuff. So if he is one of these guys that's all in on like massages and getting his body the lactic acid massaged out of his muscles, there's potential that anytime he goes on a road trip, anytime he goes training away, vacation, that he gets these massages. Now, 60 is a lot, but I could see where someone gets a high number like that if they follow that, And Deshaun Watson has made millions of dollars, so he could be in that situation. Jesus is King, as it gives the other 2 quarterbacks an opportunity to be the backup. Okay, so you're talking about Jake Luton and E.J. Perry. Okay, I like that. I like Jake Luton. Look, Jake Luton is on my list, honestly. Like, that's probably where they'll go. Like, again, my 4 guys are Josh Rosen, Cam Newton, Blake Bortles, Tyler Bray. Josh Rosen and Jake Luton are very similar to me as quarterbacks. Cam Newton, completely different, but again, not the type of guy I want. Blake Bortles could bring you that veteran how to be a pro savvy. Tyler Bray, I think, is most likely out of the 4 I have. But look, it's between Tyler Bray and Jake Luton. I'd probably take Jake Luton. He's already on the roster. He already knows the playbook. Take Jake Luton. Jesus is King with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Jesus is King. I appreciate that. Too kind. Jesus is King is always here, always in the live shows. Big Jags fan. I appreciate that, Jesus is King. He says, just my opinion, but I think the NFL should stay out of the law and let the law handle it and not suspend players because no one is perfect. It ruins the fun for the league suspending players. Okay. Now, look, I feel like a lot of people agree with you there. I kind of agree with you there. But I think they're going to want to save their face a tad. Again, they've had the bad reputation of the Ray Rice type situations and I feel like they're going to give them something. Like half of a year seems realistic for me. Which I think would make everyone happy. It'd make the Browns happy. It'd make Deshaun Watson happy. It would make public perception happy. I think all that would make everyone happy. So I think half of a season, I think 8 games is what he'll get. But that's interesting. So you're saying stay out of the law. If he's not guilty, don't suspend him. Okay. Look, I think that language is written in there for certain situations where, you take a plea deal and, you get out of something bad on a plea deal and the NFL can still suspend you because you were still guilty. I get why the language is written the way that it is about conduct detrimental to the team, but I think I'm with you there. And thank you again for the $10. Thank you. Zach is Whack says, yeah, but wouldn't he want to stick with the same person that knows his body? Definitely. And he probably, yeah, I mean, you're right. Listen, I'm trying to make an excuse for him. I think he's guilty of doing what he did, but apparently what he did wasn't illegal. Although, and here's where I'm confused. I know we're taking a long time to talk about Deshaun Watson, which is fine, but some of these latest stories from these women saying what he did is illegal. Like him taking their hand and placing it places is illegal. I mean, that's literal sexual assault. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on these newest women, what happens. And with the NDAs being the non-disclosure agreements, I don't know how to feel, to be honest with y'all. Robert Adler says Luton looked better than the giraffe. The giraffe's available. The giraffe is a free agent. The giraffe is available. Mike Glennon is available, but I did not have him on my list for that very reason. I don't want him anywhere near here. Thank you, though. King David says Duval, but as for Watson, he should have just hired call girls. I agree. You make that much money, bro. Cover your tracks. It's like these rich dudes that get busted for drinking and driving, bro. You make so much money. Like, if you're poor and you can barely afford to go out and drink and you have to drive home, it's not acceptable and it's not right, but I can understand it, right? I can understand it. If you're super rich and you're just lazy and you don't hire a driver and you get a drinking and driving, you're stupid. You're stupid. Same thing here. Do the right thing. Spend money to not get in trouble. I know that sounds immoral, but do it. If you're going to do something illegal anyways, do it. Immoral AF, shady AF. Okay, all right. Jerome McKinnon, I heard Trevor say he was something planned like I heard Trevor say he has something planned like last year, where he got together with the receivers, had some fun, and threw the ball around. Oh, I hope it works this time. Didn't seem to work last time, but I don't think that was because he didn't do anything. I think it's because the receivers were horrible. Completely different team. We'll get to that. We got plenty of time to get into that. Races fan rocks 4 says, love your Avs jersey. Hey, I had to replace the Matt Jones jersey. It's just seasonal. It's just a seasonal thing. I actually got another jersey coming. I'm pretty excited about. But yeah, if you guys don't know, I don't talk about it a lot on this Jags channel. I'm a big Colorado Avalanche fan. Colorado Avalanche have secured their spot in the Stanley Cup Finals with their, I think it was 7-6 win last night in overtime. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Listen, I haven't had a team. The last team that I rooted for that won a championship was the Colorado Avalanche in 2001. The Jags have never won. The Magic have never won. That leaves the Avs. So there we go. At least the Avs are winning championships. Gavin Baker, what up, Gavin? Says, I got to meet Trevor tonight at the stadium. Oh, sick. It was super cool to meet him in person. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I haven't met him yet. We'll have him on the show one day. But, yeah, I heard he's a great guy. Christian Charles says, Jason, what do you think of Evan Ingram? Okay, so initially when we signed him, my gut reaction was terrible. But as always, my gut reaction changes over time. And I started thinking about it, and I actually do like Evan Ingram. Like, his best 2 years of his career were his last 2 years. He's had more catch. Like, if he would, I think I saw that if he would have had his stats last year as a Jaguar, he'd be the #1 tight end in receiving yards ever as a Jaguar tight end. So the guys, at one point ran a 4.4. I like it. Look, when you're a team like the Jags, you're going to have to either spend a lot of money or get free agents that have had injury history. That's literally the only two options that you can go, because no one's going to go to your team ring chasing to Jacksonville. That's just the bottom line. So you have to either overpay or get a guy that has an injury history. And you took Evan Ingram, who had injury history, and I think that he will be good. Actually, I posted an NFL.com article on Twitter. It's at Jaguars_United. It's Twitter. I posted a picture of an article that NFL.com posted saying their top guaranteed risers for 2022. At number 7, they had Evan Ingram. They thought the change of scenery for him was going to be amazing. I thought that they thought that like the potential he has as a playmaking, remove, wide tight end receiver would be good. And I even heard Trevor Lawrence talking at the press conference after the OTAs yesterday about how he's excited about this tight end room with the Dan Arnold, with Luke Farrell, with Evan Ingram, Chris Manhertz. Like, that's a solid group of guys that could kind of mix all their skill sets together, could give you something, right? Give you something. Robert Azard, that 98-year-old vet loved her Jags helmet. It was awesome. Okay. I missed it. I missed that one. For sure. Okay. Jordan Smith going down. Like, how big of a deal is Jordan Smith getting hurt? I know he didn't play at all last year. On like the official depth chart, he's listed behind Calavon, who's listed behind Travon Walker. So technically he's a third string strong side linebacker. But again, when you get into that nickel formation we talked about on the last show, that spot's going to end up being probably an edge rusher on the strong side. So what do we do? I mean, do we pick up a guy? Does Chad Muma see increased snaps because he can kind of fill that role and he can kind of play that in certain situations? I mean, in dime situation where you have one linebacker, like one traditional linebacker, I think you could see Muma on the field. Right now, currently on the roster, you have Jameer Jones. I think he's going into his second year out of Notre Dame. His PFF grade wasn't that great last year. I think it was around 50. Rashad Berry's on the roster. He's in his second year out of Ohio State. Again, his PFF grade was pretty low as well. They picked up an undrafted free agent rookie, Deshaun Dixon, who out of Norfolk State. Again, these are all guys that kind of play that strong side linebacker. Then there's Lorente McCray. He was cut at the end of the year or middle of last year. I don't know, sometime. He could play that strong side linebacker. Do you bring him back? He's familiar with the town. He's familiar with the roster. He could be a guy that the Jags look at filling that third string spot at strong side linebacker. Robert Azard says Chad Muma moves over there. Arden Key was originally signed, I think, to be a rotational guy. I mean, he only played like 35% of the snaps last year, and I think that he could be a guy that moves over to because he's traditionally a weak side defensive end, meaning he plays, away from the tight end and away from the fullback, or away to the weak side of the field, to the boundary. So maybe he moves over and plays a little strong side backer. I'm not sure, but they're gonna have to replace him, I think, because that didn't look good. I've seen a lot of knee injuries in my life, and that one didn't look good. Even if it's a minor knee injury, best case scenario, you're looking at a month at least before he's even moving again, like properly. And I don't think Jordan Smith was ever really too big on the roster. I mean, maybe they like Jameer Jones. Maybe like Deshaun Dixon. I mean, they signed him as an undrafted rookie. Maybe Deshaun Dixon's the guy that makes his move and does it. I don't know. Derek Sindler says, how much will Agnew be involved in the offense in 2022? Would coaching staff be kind of skittish of another injury and keep him on returns? So I think this staff is going to, and thank you, Derek, good question. I think this staff's going to do the best they can do to evaluate him in training camp and preseason. Like, I think they're legit going to give spots away based on how they play in front of their own eyes. I don't think they are going to go off of tape from last year. I mean, how can you go off tape from last year? This team was horrible. I think they're going to go off their guts. They're going to trust their instincts. They're the coaching staff. So I think, to answer your question, if they're going to give Jamal Agnew snaps in the preseason, and if he does well, he'll earn a starting spot. If he does poor and he doesn't come back from his injury as well as people believe, then I think he won't get very many. He might just be a returner. He may not even be a returner. Honestly, he might get cut. So look, those season-ending injuries like the ones he had don't typically bode well for people extending their career. Now we see them come back all the time from them, but just typically, if you're playing the odds, like, you don't want to see that, especially if you're a guy that makes your money on your quick cuts and your speed, your acceleration, and things like that. So rooting for the guy. Love Jamal Agnew. I mean, probably the only bright spot to us last year. I mean, that kick six was beautiful. I mean, But again, is it a Gardner Minshew type situation where we're all sentimental and emotional about him? Is it a Blake Bortles situation where we have memories of him and good memories? Because if that's the case, then Doug Peterson, he's not going to, I mean, it's just, Doug Peterson doesn't have that. So I think it's just going to be on how he performs, what they see. Gerald McKinnon says, I guess I'm in the minority, but I still think Agnew should be used for returns. Maybe a trick play here or there on offense. Look, coming from the guy that ran the Philly special, I think you can guarantee yourself you're going to get some trick plays. So, maybe Agnew's the guy. Maybe Laviska's the guy. Maybe Kirk's the guy. You know, you never know. You never know what they're planning. CJ DSO, thank you. And what's up, CJ? I'm glad you're here. Because I didn't even, Travis Etienne didn't even cross my mind until you typed him. Travis Etienne. Is Travis Etienne just going to take Jamal Agnew's spot everywhere but kick return? I mean, what can't Etienne do? He's probably just as explosive, just as fast. I mean, you're right. DSO says he's going to be a game changer. I like that. That's a good point. I think he will be too. But yeah, look, I'm excited for this offseason. Like I actually have actual optimism. I'm really excited about watching Christian Kirk. Now I know $84 million is a lot of money. Especially considering he's never been I think he's been the highest rank he's ever been as far as yards and completions, the ranking he's ever been is top 25. Which if you think about, it's not bad. But 4 years, $84 million is a lot of money for a guy that's never been in the top 24. But here's the thing is Christian Kirk did have his career high in catches last year. 77. Maybe it was 78. I don't know. But in receiving yards, he was 20 yards shy of 1,000 on an offense where he wasn't even like the third look. I think it was 6 targets per game. I mean, imagine what he can do here as like the main guy. And that's what I think the Jaguars are banking on. And I've said this time and time and time again. I'm huge on Christian Kirk because I think his play style as a receiver fits better to Trevor Lawrence's game as a quarterback than it did to Kyler Murray's. Kyler Murray was an improv guy, ran around, found something open after 4 or 5 seconds in a play. Whereas Trevor's a drop back, 3-step drop, 5-step drop, and that's where Christian Kirk excels. That little fade routes he runs where it starts out as a vertical, then it kind of fades to the sidelines. I think week 2 and 3, he had like over 50-yard touchdowns on that exact route. Someone came out, was it NFL.com or PFF came out with an article where he had the number 2. It was next gen stats, so it had to be NFL. It was number 2 in catch rate percentage. I mean, the list was, let me see here. I have it pulled up here. The list is Adam Thielen at 10, Jamar Chase at 9, Devontae Adams at 8, George Kittle at 7, Cooper Kupp at 6, Hunter Renfrow at 5, Kendrick Bourne, which kind of surprised me, at 4, Tyler Lockett at 3, Christian Kirk at 2, and T. Higgins at 1. And so that was catch rate over expected. So basically, like, they went back and watched the throws, and the receiver wasn't expected to make the catch. And they did. And Christian Kirk was number 2. Now, it may be more of the type of ball that Kyler Murray throws, but still, it's promising. It's promising. A 75% catch rate. So we had a 75% catch rate and a 65% expected catch rate. Okay, so for those of you that are a little slower when it comes to math and analytics, 65% of the targets toward Christian Kirk he was expected to catch. Now, who evaluated that? I don't know, but expected to catch. And he caught 74.8, meaning that he had a surplus of 9.4%. So that means that he was 9.4% better than his expected catch percentage, making him second best in the league. That's what the article was saying. And look, maybe there's the type of analytics that Trent Baalke looks at. And maybe that's why they gave him a lot of money. I think 4th deepest routes on average when aligned in the slot among all receivers. So meaning he's a deep route. Excuse me. Excuse me. Finished 1st in catch rate over expected, 11.8%. 3rd in receiving expected points added. 4th in receptions 59, and receiving yards, 72 out of the slot. So obviously one of the best slot receivers in the league. And he would have had better numbers out of the slot if he lined up in the slot every snap. A lot of times he's lined up wide or the only receiver split out. He averaged 14.6 yards per target on passes of 10-plus air yards. Oh, including 11. So this gets deep in the end. So this is why I like these next-gen stats, because these, a lot of times stats lie. Like catches lie. What if it's a bad throw? Drops lie. What if it got tipped and then it hit his hands? What if the quarterback threw it low? Touchdowns lie. What if he was being double covered? These next-gen stats I like, and that's what I think people are looking at, and I think that explains why Christian Kirk got the contract that he got. Was this things like this? Jags history says Kirk for 1,000 yards this season? Absolutely. Absolutely not a doubt in my mind. I would bet a lot of money that he is, 100%. I would say, honestly, 1,300 might be a number. Vegas might put it around 1,300. Maybe not, but I would if I was Vegas. CJ DSO, come on, man. You're an Avs fan? Yeah, that's right. So, CJ, I got to tell you the truth. In 1996, my dad was watching the Florida Panthers and the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Finals. I fell in love with the Avalanche. I fell in love with Patrick Waugh, and I became an Avalanche fan since then. And I'm glad I did, because they're the only team that wins me championships. I'm a Magic fan. I'm a Jaguars fan, Avalanche fan, and I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan. I forgot to mention them earlier. The only team that wins me championships are the Avalanche, so I'm glad I am. Gerald McKinnon, PFF power rankings have moved the Jags up to 27th. That's it, baby. Look, moving on up. That's what I'm talking about. Super excited. It's good for sure, and definitely a good one for sure. How many yards and touchdowns do you think Evan Ingram will have this season? So, what do you have, 900 yards last year? To think that Kirk could have over 1,000 and Evan Ingram have over 1,000, that's a lot. We are going to throw a lot. I'll put him at 900 again. I'll put him at 900. We'll give him 6 touchdowns. 906 touchdowns. And that would be, 900's a lot. Maybe he didn't have 900. That's probably too many, right? $400 yards. I'm sorry, guys. What am I saying? 900? Yeah, right. He had 650 yards in 2020 with 63 receptions, 10.4 yards averaged. Rookie year, he had 722 yards. Last year, he had 408 yards. So, yeah, 900 would be a lot. I'm sorry. Let's give him 600 because I think he'll have a good year. I think he'll have a great year this year. And then he had 6 touchdowns his rookie year. That's his most ever. We'll give him 6 again. So I'm going to say 606. As a Wings fan, Red Wings fan, I remember the rivalry between the Wings and the Avs. Gerald, I make this argument almost every time I talk about hockey. The 2001-2002 Colorado Avalanche team was the best hockey team of all time. And Detroit Red Wings fans are the ones that give me the pushback on that. Sometimes Rangers fans in 92, 93. But look, you look at that team, Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, Adam Foote, Ray Bourque, Teemu Selanne, Paul Kariya, Patrick Waugh. That team was absolutely stacked. Rob Blake, best hockey team of all time. Alex Tengay, I can go on forever. So I'm a Devils fan. Appreciate a great team with a good history and a great goalie play. Okay, Devils and Martin Brodeur. I never liked Martin Brodeur, and here's why. He took the most. Patrick Waugh had the most wins ever as a goalie, and Martin Brodeur took that from him. But yeah, gotta respect a good goalie play, 100% for sure. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. A little bit of a shorter show tonight, but it's the middle of June, and I'm gonna be doing these shows a lot more often over the summer. Look, I'm off, boys. This is content creator summer. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, this is what that means. Jags shows multiple times a week. I have a side channel I just started. I'm gonna post it here. Hold up. If you didn't subscribe to it yet, posting it in the chat. Side channel where I'm doing a live, or not live, recorded and live sometimes show every day. Every morning there's gonna be a show. I did one this morning. Make sure to subscribe to it. It's all things sports. It's not just Jags. So it's a little snip, a little something that we're going to be doing. And on top of that, I'm on Twitch I'm going to be doing some Twitch stuff because that's kind of like what I like to do. I'm actually going to go on Twitch after this. So Twitch, you can just search it up. I'm not going to post a link. It's Jaguars United. Look it up on Twitch. I don't know what I'm going to play yet tonight. It should be fun. Last question we'll get in here. Mindset. What's your defensive MVP for the Jags season? Josh Allen. I think the addition of Trevon Walker will help Josh Allen more than anybody. Although I do like Foyesade Alukin a lot. But I think Josh Allen will be defensive MVP for sure. Derek Sandler, thank you for the great show. Thank you guys for being here. Jesus is King, the $10 super chat. Grace Lambert, the $5 super chat. Thank you guys. Love it. Make sure you're subscribed because, again, we are going to be doing a lot more shows this summer. It's going to be a lot of fun. Super excited. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. Can I have you on a guest? Yeah, absolutely. Send me a message on Twitter or whatever. Mindset for sure, dude, for sure. All right, dude. Appreciate you guys.